Can anyone please make sure that I'm audible or not?
Hello, Arnav. You're audible.
Okay, thank you. So, a very good evening to everyone. I'm Arnav Gupta, an MCA student from BVICAM, and it is truly an honor and privilege to be hosting today's session of 25 in 2025, the Changemaker series by Whiteboard Foundation. This series is full of knowledge and inspiration, which brings us visionary leaders, entrepreneurs, and changemakers to students like us, bridging the gap between education and industry. And today we have a legendary guest among us, someone whose journey exemplifies innovation, perseverance, and brilliance. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great excitement and immense respect that we welcome Abid Sir, co-founder of Orvo AI and a Shark Tank India Season 3 funded entrepreneur. Abid Sir is a true pioneer in the world of artificial technology and leading Orvo AI to revolutionize the beauty and personal care industry through cutting-edge artificial intelligence solutions. His work is shaping the future of personalization, consumer engagement, and AI-driven business strategy. But beyond the incredible technology, his story is one of the bold vision, fearless execution, and unwavering belief in innovation, something which every student, entrepreneur, and tech enthusiast can learn from. Today, we are going to explore his journey, the power of AI in transforming industry, and what it truly takes to impress sharks and build a thriving startup. Welcome, sir. A very warm welcome from Whiteboard Foundation.
Thank you, Arnav. It's pure
Welcome,
pleasure that.
Abid. Welcome to Whiteboard Foundation.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. It's my pleasure that I'm on this stage and seeing so many participants from various places all around the globe, and it's truly exciting. I think we'll have a great session. I'll interact with everyone, and we'll have fun.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
definitely. So, Arnav, you can proceed forward with your discussions, and I'm here to
Yes,
help.
ma'am. Sure. Okay. So, sir, as we want to proceed for the discussion and question, I would want to ask about your journey in the AI space, how you got into artificial intelligence, and um, about your colleges and how you got into artificial intelligence.
Great. The journey is a long one. So things got started when I was in college, and we were just studying something called as a pattern recognition. So it was the era in the age of 2013 to 15 times. So I was doing my MTech, and neural networks were just blooming and coming into the game. We were using it for pattern recognition of all sorts, and AI as a term was not the buzzword in those days. So it was majorly how a mathematical model can actually predict something which is out of the general know-how of various equations and various theories of from physics, chemistry, and whatnot. So it was among those days that things started getting into shape. So I started out there, and I was sitting with my co-founder Danish. So back then he was my batchmate, and we were just sitting in a garden, and we were discussing about okay, we'll open a company of our own. We'll have some kind of innovation coming out of this college, coming out of our brain, and it will actually help someone at the end. So that was the start of the AI part as well as the entrepreneurship part, I would say. So it got started. Then we got into the industry because starting a startup in those days was not the best thing that you could actually find out. So it was not that easy. I would say, I would not say that it is easy today, but definitely in those days startup was not the buzzword again, as AI was not there. A startup ecosystem was also not that prevalent, I would say. Yeah. So we got out of college. the thing was inside our head that we need to innovate, we need to innovate, we need to do something of that sort. And and what we found out over the years, I'll just cross 3 4 5 years from then, and the thing that we actually were doing, we wanted to innovate, and what we studied was called AI. Now, getting back to the story, so it was not AI that we were creating, but definitely it became AI of today. So yeah, we got into AI based on that. I got into the industry with my friend, worked on various technologies like the ADAS systems as you see today, the autonomous driving and all those, the lane detection, red light detection, all those stuff. Then got into medical imaging. How do you make images better in terms of an X-ray or whatnot? Going to 360-degree cameras and the latest tech that we see in today's world. We were just working on those tech, but there was something at the back of the mind. As I said earlier, we needed to do something, some kind of innovation that could help the world live a better life, or maybe solve some kind of problem at the end of the day. So we got into AI and what happened is that we were working like a 9 to 6 job on a daily basis. Now, where do you find the time to innovate? Because it's a job, you have to travel back, then XYZ. So we used to come back home and work again the next shift for ourselves. So it was post 6, post 7, post 8, and then we used to work for the night. Then again in the morning, go back to office, and this was the whole circle which was revolving around. And we were developing stuff. On the Saturdays and Sundays, we used to go out, look for customers if they had interest in what we were building, or maybe the things that we had built, do they have any kind of interest in it? So the interesting part was that everyone was quite interested in what we were building, what we were delivering. But the thing is that we were good at AI at the core, but we were not good at business as such. We were not good salesmen. But long story short, this is how I came into the industry of AI, and it's a long story how Orbo was born and things related. If you would be interested, I'll definitely share that. But yeah, long story short, that's how I got into AI.
Okay, sir. Sir, we would really love to hear about the journey of Orvo AI and what actually inspired you to start Orvo AI and how the idea evolved over the time.
Okay, so I think I'll just continue where I left then, because it is all related. So okay, where I was, I was very bad at sales. In fact, my partner Danish also, he was also bad at it. So we found out that and this is an interesting part. So we were going to the customers and we were telling them, okay, this is the feature, this is XYZ, and you should buy it. We can give you a 20% discount on this. And they were asking us, okay, what is the salary you guys expect? Because I want you as an employee. So the interesting part is we were negotiating. It's not about salary. How much discount do you want? And he was like, how much salary? And we were like, how much discount? But that was the fun part. It did not work out that way. So again, we were just struggling. How do we get into the game? Because if we don't have the power of X, Y, Z, the parameters that are responsible for any successful startup, let it be innovation being one, business being second, finance being third, sales, marketing, and many other operation related tasks that is actually needed to run a business or run a startup. So if we did not have that particularly in hand, then definitely opening and going into it would actually lead to a day where we'll be just thinking, okay, it did not work out. So we knew that we need to get up the game, push ourselves forward, and that's how we joined Manoj. So he had actually come from US. He was leading innovations at Adidas. He was responsible for the acquisition of Reebok. He was a commercial guy who had innovation in his blood. I would explain him as that. He's my third founder. So
Okay.
he came to the country. He and the vision actually he had was something related to the cameras. Yeah, so back in the day of 2013, 15, 16, in those times, the mobile phone cameras were actually evolving a lot. And it was our initiative. There's a common initiative between all three of us, that how can we make the cameras at par with the DSLR quality cameras. When we are talking about the mobile phone cameras of those days, which were definitely not that good. So that was the core initiative, and we thought, okay, we had to do something in AI, in today's language. And he had a vision that needed to do something to make the camera better, because camera is the new eye for everyone today. You go for shopping or anything, you take a snap and then find it on what is the price on Nika, maybe what is the similar product on Mintra or XYZ. So it has evolved being the third eye for you or everyone in the society today. So we actually thought that this is going to be a game changer. So we got along, and that's how Orbo was initially at a preliminary level. And that company, which was owned by Manoj, we were working there as employees in those days, and it was a total different ball game of increasing the resolution and getting the images better, having a brand philosophy catered into the image quality and base strategies that we had built. And those were the times when IPL was actually quite booming. If
Yes,
you all
sir. I
remember,
remember.
IPL was like, okay, this is something coming up really, really good, and everyone was interested in it. And there was again a third company coming into play, which was called Snapchat.
Yes,
Everyone
yes.
knows Snapchat, and it was those days when stickers on the face was the key to any social media photo that you actually saw in those days. So I'm an R&D guy, so I was just looking at one of the pictures, and I thought that why not I put maybe Sachin Tendulkar on someone's cheek, or maybe Kohli on someone's cheek, and or maybe Indian flag on the forehead, similar to what Snapchat was doing with maybe a hat on the head, or maybe a cat on the face, something of that sort. So I was just doing that as an R&D and seeing what the scope would be like and what will be the market fit for it. And suddenly, what I realized is that I applied a color on the lip,
Okay.
and suddenly, what struck to all three of us was that this looks like a lipstick. And that was where Orbo actually born into the beauty space. So it was a red lips with no texture of that sort. It was just an R&D experiment. How would it actually look like? Or maybe how would an Indian flag or something of that sort, or IPL monogram or something would look on a lip. And that's how we realized that the makeup industry did not change the way of sales for the past 5 decades or even more. It has been the same throughout. People go to a mall or maybe their cosmetic shop, and they are trying out on their hand or maybe trying out on their face, and then it takes some quite time, 5 minutes to 20 minutes, to try 2 or 3 shades of it, and then they pick up a mind, okay, I'll go with the red one or the pink one, or with this tone of the foundation or that tone of the eyeshadow. So we realize this, that okay, this is a painful process. So it takes time. At the same time, the sales is not changing over time. Third, this is a market where marketing is done a lot, because there's a big ROI between the actual product cost and the sale cost. You can find a lipstick for maybe 200 bucks, maybe 500 bucks, but it goes way above like 5,000, 10,000, or even more. So there's a big game to play. Third, what we could actually see is that when the person actually goes into a mall or maybe XYZ place where the person is actually trying it, there are many parameters or factors which are actually not letting the person buy the product. First being, the attendant who is actually helping you buy the product is not skilled enough with the know-how of a skin expert or maybe a makeup expert. Second, maybe you have gone with a kid, and you cannot spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes trying out lipsticks and foundations, because it takes time. So your kid will be crying, or maybe there's a phone call. How do you take that? You have few friends with you who are not interested in makeup, maybe XYZ parameters. So there's a lot which actually brings down the capacity of sales that is actually possible. So we found that there is a gap in the market. First, you need to reduce the time, because the other parameters are letting you not buy the product. At the same time, you need to give them proper education in terms of this is something that actually suits you, and this is how do you make the journey easy. And the third thing, if the person is very creative and wants to try many things in a small span of time, then applying the actual shade does not solve the problem, because again, it takes time. So we try to solve all these by having a makeup try on in place. And that's how Orbo was born, with the makeup try on. Then came the skin analyzer, where you, if you have any issue on the face, maybe depigmentation, dark circles, wrinkles, or anything of that sort, hydration issues, oxygen issues, we can actually detect that and help the salesperson to give the customer the right ingredient that will actually be present in form of any cream or serum or XYZ product, so that the person who is buying gets an informative product at the end of the day. And does not happen that I have tried a product, maybe Shivangi has told me, Abid, why don't you try something of a moisturizer, because you have a flaky skin. And if my issue was actually not a flaky skin, it was just looking flaky, but the main issue was something else, then I would say, no, Shivangi told the right thing, but the brand is bad. Okay, because it did not work on me. The problem was not that the brand was bad or the product was bad or Shivangi was wrong. The problem was that the know-how about the issue of my face is actually something that a dermat would actually understand, or maybe a specialized person would actually understand. And when you apply the right thing at the right moment for the right purpose, then only you see the conversion being happening. So that's the kind of loyalty that brings onto the table, and all these things end up making the customer have an informed decision, as well as the brand making more money at the end of the day. So that was in short the journey that we have been. Then post that, you all know that we got a chance to be featured on Shark Tank. That was season 3 last year. And what an episode, what an experience, I would say. Definitely a great one. So I still remember that I was just entering the bay that goes into the tank, and it was all nervousness of all sorts, because many cameras looking at you, and you have to have patience, listen clearly, and then answer the right thing. It was all those inertia inside that was just pushing in. And once I was on the stage, it was all gone, because then it was so candid, so friendly in terms of everything that was going around. All the sharks, they actually greeted with the warmth, and it was so pleasing. It just flew out of the mind that okay, I've been watching by crores of people all around the globe, and what would happen. But yeah, that's the Shark Tank journey. It was really good on that part. Yeah, Arnab.
Yes, sir. So, sir, now that we got to know about your journey and to start Orbo AI, we would want to ask what were some major hurdles that you encountered while building Orbo AI? And like every startup faces challenges, be it in starting, be it in end, or like while building the product or the business whole. So, how did you overcome to those problems?
So when you get into this business of startup, every day is a challenge, and every day is something that pushes you to a new day. I would say it is pure um, problem solving attitude that helps you drive the force. because as a startup you are always short of resources. You don't have adequate money, you don't have adequate people, you don't have adequate of anything for that matter that is required to get things done. It is always that you have to push yourselves, and the team has to push themselves, because it is not a 9 to 5 job then. And believe me, on that ground, that is the fun part of it. If things are so smooth, there's no fun to drive it. If you're in this industry, if you want to get into a startup journey, if you enjoy the pain, please become a part of it, because that is the real fun. If you don't enjoy that, then probably be a part of it and have fun in a different way. But definitely this is something very interesting. So every day, I would say, is has been challenging when it comes to clients or maybe products. So your product is not matured enough, you have to go to market early because there's an investors telling you, okay, when are we going to market, because things are getting delayed. Or maybe you have ordered a mirror, as we have showcased on Shark Tank, that we have a technical technology packed mirror which detects many things and does many things. So it got delayed due to something. How do we cater the client? It's a day in day out job. So yeah, it is something of that sort.
So, sir, like now we know that building a team is very important in the businesses. So, what were the
Mhm.
skills that you looked into the people and the starting of building of Orgo AI?
That is very, very interesting. In fact, I would say that is the key to a successful startup. Your idea may be brilliant, everything, you must be the best person in the world, but you cannot run the startup on your own. You need a great team that can pull your thoughts into reality. Because you can see the vision, yeah, great. Maybe the team cannot see the vision, but it is your responsibility to make them see the vision, and they will help you actually make it a reality at some point of time. The basic ingredient of any person getting into the startup industry is having the right set of attitude. As we discussed in the few questions back itself, that what are the difficulties, or maybe what are the challenges that I faced. It is it is not just that I will be facing the challenge, the team will be facing the challenge. They will also be short of resources, they will also have less time, though there will be chances that they will have to work maybe 12 at the night, or maybe 3 in the morning. There are cases that you have to cross the line and work that hard. It is all about having the right set of attitude. You can learn any skill possible. If I ask you that, do you know Python? Maybe not. But if you have the attitude that, okay, I'll learn it, I'll get things done, that is what is required. When you see that, okay, I am getting into an industry which is startup, and maybe Arnav, I'll take your example again, and you are joining a company with a motive that you are a backend engineer. Now, how good are you at the backend engine as a backend engineer would be defined by the experience that you have and the attitude you have. If you have the right set of attitude, in a very short span of time, you will actually go to a level that you have done 5 deployments, you have actually built many databases on your own, and that's how the self drive comes into the play. And when I, for example, I hire people, I simply see that the time they have spent, it is not about the end goal. Maybe the end product that you actually made was not that good. It was all about that, where did you start and where did you end, and in what time. If that is something in sync with what I want in terms of the qualification for a good attitude, yeah, I'll take you. No matter there's a person who comes from a very A grade school or maybe an international degree. No, it is pure attitude what matters for me. And many founders in my network actually follow the same thing. It is not about just the degree that you hold. It is purely about how you see the world. Are you capable enough to see the vision that I am seeing, and are you ready to push your strengths further to get the goal going. Okay, in a football match, you see that the person is actually moving and the defenders are coming towards him. It is the last mile delivery, that just crossing the line and get pushing the goal. It got into the net or not, that is immaterial. Did you do your 100%? I'm not talking about the flimsy number like a 150%, I give 200%, I give 1000%. You can only give 100% of yourself. Did you do or not? That's what matters to me. At the end of the day, if you fail, I fail, no, does not matter. I gave my 100%, you gave your 100%. That's what we had in hand. So that is something that I look, and various people in the startup ecosystem are actually looking at. As a college student, are you crossing the lines of theory? Are you practicing something? Do you have any goals? Okay, I'll do something, some XYZ project on my own, irrespective of the curriculum requirements and all. That's where the attitude builds up.
It's more
Even
about
I
the
completely agree.
attitude.
This is the golden rule,
Yes.
I must say. Attitude is everything, be it startup, be it corporate, be it any company. Definitely.
Correct. It is not just about that you are intelligent or you are hardworking. You need the right attitude. Everything can be compensated at the end of the day. You
Absolutely.
will become hardworking. You will become intelligent once you have the attitude.
Right, right.
So I think it's more about the positive attitude and the willingness to learn rather than a degree the person holds.
Yes.
Correct. Truly phrased.
So nextly, I would want to ask about the technology behind Orgo AI. Could you briefly break down the technology that you use in Orgo AI?
Yeah, sure. So at Orbo, we are a pure tech company. We use deep learning, LLMs. When it comes to deep learning, LLMs, I don't know the crowd is well versed with the terms of AI or not, but definitely I'll put some jargons. Maybe it helps. So we use TensorFlows, PyTorch, we use Llama, and various rankers, vector databases, MongoDB, and that's a tech stack completely: C++, Python, and all those stuff. We use definitely every sort of that thing. Again, it boils down to, it is that if you want to build a basic tech, everything is available on the net. But if you want to build a tech that could actually build a business, then there is something not available on the internet that you will have to build. Else, I can also copy you, Shivangi can copy, Arnav, you can copy me, and everything is so much available on the internet. That's the point where things get interesting. So I've worked with companies like Cisco, Intel, Samsung, many brands for that matter. And the end of the day goal is to have things very optimized, because you can get a solution online, but you cannot get an optimized solution online. Colleges have great tech. At the end of the, you can see the PhDs have done great work. The MTech people, BTech people, they have built beautiful projects. But how do you make that viable in terms of the business, getting a ROI out of it, selling it to the customers, and still having a competitive edge? These are the few terms that you'll have to take in mind before getting into the play. So at Orbo, the main perspective is whenever we build some new tech, let it be AI, non-AI, UI, or something of that sort, backend, it has to be optimized to the level where we have a competitive edge. So we just giving you some examples. We built super resolution technology way back. In fact, when Orvo was actually blooming up, and it got into the Intel's hands in those days. They showcased it in a keynote speech in Taiwan, and we were running a 4K upscaler super resolution backed by AI at 90 FPS on an Intel machine without a GPU. So that is something. So people could actually do it, but they needed an NVIDIA GPU for that. You need hardware. If you cannot bring things as easy as possible to everyone's hand, then how can you create that environment where you can create the ROI for everyone? Today, my technology works on any laptop, any browser for that matter. Whatever browser, Safari, Chrome, it can run on that. And it has to be safe enough that you cannot copy me.
Okay, okay. So, sir, like, what makes Orbo UI, Orbo AI unique as compared to the existing solution? Is that the unique idea behind Orbo AI, or is that the technology or the cheap solution that you're giving?
So it goes hand in hand. At the end of the day, market is not governed by technology. Market is governed by a need. So we got there because there was a need in the market that the experience factor was not there. It was totally out of place in the makeup industry. Second, if I give that experience into the market, does the market have the capacity to pay me? That is point number two, because then only there is something that you can take out of the market, or maybe the person sitting behind you as a B2B player can actually take a chunk of it, or maybe the brand I am working with, they can have any kind of a benefit. Because if they are selling two products and I add a third one because of me and I take a big chunk of it, what is the fun if they are not getting any ROI shift? It's just the number of products being increased, but the net profit is still the same. Does not make sense. So you have to take care of the market, which we generally in financial technical terms call the TAM, SAM, SOM. These are technical financial terms that you must have heard on Shark Tank probably, because they have made it quite common to hear. So you need to see the market, then you need to see the appetite for it. How much work you will have to do to get hold of that market, and then what profit you can actually derive from it. From the profit that you can derive, you'll have to go back and see if there is a what can actually resolve that. Now that could be tech, that could be non-tech. We being the tech part, because our brain have been tuned towards tech, and we are someone who can think it easily. Maybe you come from a different background and you can think of a automation pipeline in back end or a front end, or in business operations way better than me. So maybe that becomes one of your USPs of thinking and creating a solution for it. So how do you create that solution? That's the point where technology and all those areas come into play. So we thought that technology can actually play a big role, because first, technology gives you scale. You can build brilliant ideas in terms of automation in logistics, supply chain, XYZ, but the scale at which technology brings the game is huge. You can sit out here wherever you are sitting, and you can rule the world in terms of your sales procedure. You can deliver anything for that matter when you have technology in place. So we had technology in place for that matter, and that's how we saw that the market, the need is there is appetite, there is some profitability chunk where I can have a bite of it, my brand can have a bite of it, or maybe if a third person is coming, they can also have a bite of it. And because we were in the starting phase of the industry, there was technically no competition existing, very few players. So again, it's good to be in a competitive market, because then they create something, then you make something better, then they make something better, and that's how the market is actually evolving. No fun if you are the only player in the market, because then you cannot just push the boundaries further. Because at the end of the day, if the customer gets involved by something extra, like Apple does, like Samsung does, they are the same phones. You do the same WhatsApp messages or the Gmail on either of the devices, but there's something extra coming up next year, which Samsung will be proposing, which Apple will be proposing. So it's fun for the customers to have that kind of thing. So, and we being the technologists, that's something in us. So coming back to the point that, yeah, so there was technology in place, and the technology could actually give the scale, as I said, because technology gives scale. And we did not have very huge income at the beginning. We did not have a financial backup that we can go the route without technology. So yeah, we choose technology to be a part of that ingredient.
Okay, sir. So, sir, like, what's next for Orbo AI? Do you see your AI technology expanding into new domains and industries?
Yeah, so basically, for Orbo, it's we have just scratched the surface into the beauty industry. There, we are working on many experiences like the beauty GPT that you saw on Shark Tank episode. That was a beta version that we released there. It was just the beginning of it. It is expanding to a next level where we are bringing hyper personalized experiences for everyone. For example, if Shivangi is going for a foundation from Mac, she'll have a completely different experience, and a different experience in terms of, if I am going to Mac and Shivangi is going to the same Mac store or maybe the website, we will have a different experience altogether because our needs are different, our perspective towards makeup is different. And how do you create that? So it's very interesting that is coming up. Let it be makeup, let it be skin, let it be hair, hairstyles, hair colors, and many products that are in the on the way, which probably I'll not be talking about in this episode of yours. But yeah, it's coming.
Sir, could you briefly also tell us about the revenue model of Orbo AI?
So revenue model, maybe not to the integrals of it, but on a preliminary, superficial level, I can actually discuss that. So we are a B2B company. We are not a B2C company where we'll be giving something to the customers who are end users, and they'll be paying to us in X format or Y format, or we'll take an affiliate from the brands for giving it for free to the customers, or that sort. We technically work with brands and retailers working into the beauty space. When I say beauty space, anything that is around the face we deal with. So around the face, the first thing is the makeup industry, the second is the skincare industry, and the third is the hair, the salons. Okay, so hair colors, hairstyles, beard styles, beard colors, and all those areas. So these are the industry that we are working with. So we give them access to our tech. That can be in the form of the mirror that we showcase on the Shark Tank episode. It could be in the form of applications. For example, you must have seen Shopper Stop application, or a Maybelline application, a Nike application. So we give them a complete app for it, or maybe we give them a plugin, which technically is called a SDK, which they can actually integrate into their softwares. That is again possible for the Android phones, for the iOS, Apple phones, or maybe the web browsers. So that's the channel that we are looking at. So this becomes a very important point, in fact, for everyone to actually keep in mind. It is very important to see which channel will actually work for you, and what all channels would actually help you build the game onto the next stage. So we in the initial days, we were giving as web UI, the web SDKs, but we actually realized that we need to be omni-channel, omnidirectional. So we have our all the channels that are actually available in the market. Let it be SDKs, let it be applications, let it be physical hardware, like the mirror that we have. And if there are new channels coming up into the play, we'll have our tech open for that forum also. So that is one of the big points, I think, which is important if you're starting your own startup journey. Coming back to the financials, so it is more of a user-based charging mechanism that we have. For example, if Maybelline is working with me and they have a tech, so for each skin analysis, they'll have to pay us X amount. And if they say that, okay, my customer base is huge, and if I pay you on a usage basis, it will be a huge amount, and maybe the process will actually end up making us zero at some point of time in terms of profits or anything of that matter, then we give them a yearly license. When it comes to the mirror, it is more of a monthly subscription fees that they'll have to pay. And again, that is more of over a period, they'll have to sign an agreement for a year, 2 year, 5 year. And that's how the overall financial model is being built.
Okay, sir. So, sir, since many of the students here are from technical side, let's talk about the security also. And how does the data privacy is ensured in your in your model?
Great question. In fact, very important when you come to the industry, and this is something which is neglected a lot. And then the time comes where you need that security protocol to be in place, and it's not there, you lose clients. It is very important to have security in place. Multiple reasons for that. The first thing is, you don't want the competition to take your tech. That is first, or any inspiration from your tech. They should know, okay, you are present in the market and you do XYZ stuff, and you are good at it. If you do not have security of your tech in place, then you're losing the market at the end of the day. So that's the first firewall you need to build. The second firewall is, when the user is giving you any kind of a data, how are you utilizing it? Because these are PII data, in terms of various aspects, I would say. And in different countries, the security protocol and policy is actually different. In the Western countries, it is very important that you need to be uh, you need to follow various policies and guidelines on how much data can you store, what kind of data can you store, can you access some kind of data without users permission, what kind of permission is actually required, and how do you end up storing that data. So there's a huge policy being built in every country for that one. India is also building various policies on that. Now, when it comes to Orvo, it was very important for us that we do not use any kind of users' data of any sort. So we take the image from the user, on the fly we apply the makeup, on the fly we do the analysis, and we do not store the face of the person. That is first thing. We delete it on the fly. Nothing is being saved. Second, if the client is very much concerned about, okay, you are telling us, but maybe the tech is storing it somewhere, how do I know? Then probably we can give the tech on-prem service on their cloud or on their device of that matter, and then we have no access to the data. So they, as a client of ours, basically they'll be having the data of the customers that are coming to the portal, or maybe the APIs, maybe the application. So we become secure on that part. The third thing is that when the client is actually telling us, no, Abid, you do the front ending, you do everything, you use your cloud, then, and definitely the brands I'm talking about, they are available in Africa, US, UAE, Japan, everywhere. And how do you cater to the policies everywhere? Because there are so many countries. You cannot just go and read their constitution for that matter and see what policies are actually applicable. Then you need to have a strict consent from the user that this is something that you are that is a legal format which is generic in various ways across the globe. So you have to take proper consent from the user, and you need to have those things in your audit also, because there are various brands that will come up to you, and they will say that, okay, how do I trust that you are giving to the same tech and not using my data to a different brand altogether? Maybe I can take your data, you are Maybelline, and I can sell that data to Lakme. They need to be secure in terms of how things are working out. So then you need the proper audit system internally, you need those in place, you need third party involvement in the audits, you need to have VAPT checks of your APIs to showcase to the brand, to create that trust that, okay, things are in place and you are very much secured if you work with us. So these are the two aspects of security, being the tech that you hold, your processes that you hold, your policies, and definitely the public policies for the users consent and the users PII data.
Yes, sir. Um, Sir, I think we should also talk about the scalability of your business model because, RBI is a rapid growing business and there must be n number of additional users getting engaged daily. So, me being a DevOps enthusiast, I know that scaling is very important in software. So, how do you ensure that the scalability is done effectively?
Scalability is key to the startup industry. As I told you in the initial talk itself, tech brings scalability, and as you said, a DevOps engineer, backend engineer, and these people, they have a lot to do with it. And when it comes to the app developers also, again, that is a point where they'll have to see that how scalable, because there are n number of phones existing today with n number of brands and multiply by n number of models they release every year and the number of years they have been functioning into. So that's a lot. How do you make that compatible with everything? Yeah, you are using a maybe a Firefox browser or maybe a Safari browser. Which edition? I don't know. Which OS? I don't know. How do you become scalable on that ground? And then the word actually you use that you're a DevOps engineer, then definitely cloud becomes. Then which cloud you use? Yeah, there's AWS, there is Azure, there is Google
Azure,
Cloud,
GCP.
and many more. How do you become so friendly with everything that okay, you make your mind, okay, AWS is giving it for a lesser cost, let's shift our complete tech from Google to AWS, or maybe AWS to Azure, and maybe back to AWS. How do you do that? That is again the third part. So it becomes very important that you are scalable. And in this complete process, if you see, what is very important is standardization. If you follow a standard which is applicable to all the platforms that are available today, and there are which are actually expected to come over time, if the standard is a reference and you build everything according to that standard, scalability is not an issue. So that is very important. Everything you build in technology, in processes, everything for that matter, the policies inside the company, from HR team to finance team, standardization is key to everything, because your team will be scaling, your finance will be scaling, your tech will be scaling, your cloud will be scaling, your clients would be scaling. Everything is scaling. So that's the key aspect to it.
Okay, sir, that's perfect.
Maybe if
So,
I go
sir,
into topic, it would actually open a lecture and I can write a book on it because there's so much to talk about it in different
yeah, sir.
aspects.
So, sir, let's also talk about a major question that comes into our mind since you are into AI. So many of students have this in their mind that will AI take their jobs, or how will AI help them in future, or will it really take their jobs, or will it help us in the future?
Very, very interesting question, and it is quite frequent that I am asked the same question from many. Uh, will AI take the job? No. The basic answer is no. For example, I'll give you the example of my industry. We came up with a lot of AI in the beauty tech, but are we cutting jobs for the beauticians, for the salesperson, for the many people who are working on Nika website to developing it? No, we are enabling them at all points where they can actually make money or make their life easy. The salesperson uses our tech to convince the end customer that okay, ma'am, you have a dark circle and our AI is actually showing it. You also have a hydration issue, and probably this is the cream and this is the regime that you should follow to get it solved at in maybe 3 months time, or maybe 3 weeks time, or 2 weeks time. So we are enabling them when they are actually using the lipstick shades on the mirror. We are reducing the cost of the minis, the samples that the brand is actually producing, and helping again the salesperson. Ma'am, you can get an offer with if you buy a pink lipstick with the mauvish one. So we are enabling them. At the end of the day, what matters is that how do you use AI to improve your productivity? That is the key where things are getting very, very interesting. I'll give you one more example. Remember when in a year 2000, that era, 3, 4 years down the line, before 2000 or maybe plus 2000, it was a time when the mobile industry was just booming up. There were big chunky Nokia phones coming up. Then Panasonic came into game, and it was the end of the telephone line. The landlines were getting dissolved into mobile phones, and the pager industry was seeing a shift because the messaging services that were available on mobile phones were the same as the pagers. But do you think the telecom industry just collapsed? No, it evolved into a new game of telephone. And today you tell me that mobile phone became a lifeline for everyone because internet is available on phone. The industry evolved and became bigger. When internet came into the play, everyone thought that people who were accountants who actually used calculators to do all the financials for every institute of the world would actually become jobless. But what happened? You and me became engineers. We are working, there's a big industry working out of it. All those people who were on calculators now got evolved into excels of the world, and they are doing such beautiful analytics out of it, and they did not even think about it in those times. So it is, history has proven that technology has never taken jobs, it has given more opportunities. It is just in our hands that how do we evaluate it and how do we evolve ourselves, because you have to use AI to build something. If you say I'll be the same, then definitely you are redundant now. You have to evolve yourself. How do you use AI? You code, okay, why are you coding? You use the Kodu application or maybe the cursor application or maybe XYZ platform to do the coding. And then once the basic infrastructure has been built, you do your creativity around it. Maybe use your creativity in creating the basic code network, and then you give it to the AI tools to make it better, or maybe it would do the redundant work for you. Everything is available nowadays. You just need to know how to use it and use your creativity at the end of the day. So no, you are
Okay.
safe. Everyone is safe. Jobs are not going anywhere.
As long as we are willing to evolve.
Correct.
That's the most debatable question I keep on getting here from everywhere.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
But
either
yes,
you evolve and you improve, or either you quit. These are the only two ways that we have.
yes, yes. The basic thing is you cannot sit idle. If you sit idle, then definitely there's a loss.
Right,
You
right.
have to keep evolving, and tech is all about that. Ages, you see how human have changed from animals to where we are today. It is always evolving. So we need
Right.
to evolve at our speed.
Right, sir. Right. Sir, what advice would you give to the young innovators who wish to build impactful AI-driven solutions, since many of us here are aspiring to enter into the tech world and the startup ecosystem?
So small advice, yes, if you want the hustle, if you enjoy it, get into the startup ecosystem and run for something that is not money. Run for something which creates an impact. Money will follow. Don't run for money, don't run for luxuries of the world. They are all secondary. They will follow you if you do the right thing. Second, whatever idea you are thinking about, it you everyone actually thinks that okay, this has come to my mind and I am the biggest brain and I can create an industry around it. No, if you are thinking 100 other people around the globe, they are also thinking the same. What matters is who takes the first step of going into the market and executing it. Third point, which is very important, every idea is great until and unless it is, you get to a point and suddenly realize, okay, this was a point where it will actually fail. It is very important to becomes the devil's advocate. If you have an idea, make it a point. You have 10 points, at least 10 points, that you say, okay, if this happens, my business will shut down. It is with every business for that matter. Believe me. Let it be the biggest of the biggest giants, the Teslas of the world. There are points, if that happens at any point of time with the variables around it, the business will actually fail. And when you know that these are the points where the business will actually fail, those are the moments where you actually look for solutions and mitigate those risks. So it is very important to mitigate risk at every step of the startup journey. I think that's the pure advice that I would like to give them.
Right, sir. Right. So, sir, let's suppose I'm really passionate about AI and entrepreneurship, and aspire to build a career in this same space, in the same field. So, based on your experience, what key skills and areas should I focus on to prepare myself to get into the same industry and build myself to start a startup? Because we should have a willpower to get into the startup culture. As you only mentioned that you should be willingly uh, do the efforts, right? So, what do you think? How would you suggest and give advice for a student like me?
Got it. For the AI industry, it applies broadly to every other industry for that matter. But I'll take the example of the AI industry. You need to build projects on your own without any compulsion that I need to present it somewhere, without a compulsion that I need to build it for because I need to create a business around it. No, you get a problem statement from the internet, maybe Kaggle, maybe somewhere else. Just try it out, build it. There's a given data set. How do you manipulate that data set so that the
Mhm.
model becomes better? How do you create that data set in a more efficient way that you get the same kind of result? Is there any other way of approaching the same problem? How many perspectives are there to approach the same problem? So when it comes to AI, definitely AI has data set and a model and a training pipeline. So how many models can be used? How can you tweak the model in some other kind of way? Maybe 4 layer model is performing good, but what if I apply 6 layer? Why a 6 layer is an overdue, or maybe a 6 layer model can give some extra benefit in some scenario? And how are the channels related? Why there's a YOLO system? Okay, how is the YOLO system working? Why is there a batch normalization layer inside the model? What if I remove the batch normalization layer? This kind of the curiosity that builds up when you do the projects. So this is very important. You do number of projects. Second, be curious about why this should be done in this way. Is there a different way? Why something has been used? What if I remove it? What if I put something else? How is the result changing? How are the inputs changing? When you do this kind of analysis, you mature as a person, as an engineer, in a very different form. Believe me on that. You go ahead 5 years ahead of your colleagues and the industry, because you try to get into that habit. Okay, what if I do it differently? Rather than just seeing it, okay, this is how you do it. If you're making a tea, why should you put sugar at the beginning? Why should you put the sugar at the end? What is the benefit of it? How many scenarios can you cater to if you put it in the beginning? How many scenarios you cater if you put the milk at the end? That is the curiosity that will actually get inside your head and help you in a different problem statement later in the time.
Yes, sir. Right.
This is taught to us from the childhood, the
Yes,
curiosity. Yes.
correct. Everything our parents have been teaching us since the beginning, the teachers and everything, the education system. It's just that we need to open our eyes and see it again.
You
Right,
have
sir.
to find
Right.
the logics.
Sir, we students aspire to work in a high growth startup, right? So, I would want to ask that does Orgo AI offer internship or full-time opportunity for students like us, like we are the uh, freshers, right? So, do you offer some roles or what are the skills required for to get into your company?
Definitely, definitely. So in fact, I will tell you, the AI head in my company joined me when he was in the third year. He has been in the company since he was an intern. And there have been examples in the company where that does not follow the industry law. Maybe people, I'll just not name them, but they have been disqualified on various grounds, but they were the best engineers that I have. So there are various aspects to it. All that matters is that do you have the right set of attitude? And second, if you have gone through the journey that I actually explained, if you think that you have done many projects, you know the in depth of it, the result does not matter. Believe me on that. If you know how the journey has been for YOLO to evolve, for the mobile nets to evolve, for various aspects into how Taggle's problem is related to a different set of problem that you actually did as a personal project. If you have gone through that journey, please call me, please message me. I'll be happy to have you in the company if there's an opportunity. Believe me on that. And that's the only thing that I look for. Let it be interns, let it be freshers, let it be experienced people. You are from IIT or triple IT does not matter to me. Believe me on that. If
That's
you don't
wonderful,
have the
sir.
BT theory, that will also work out until and unless you have the right set of skills and attitude.
Right, sir. Right. So, we also want to make the session to be interactive as possible as we can. So, if anyone from here, from the audience, has any question from Mr. Sinha, please feel free to ask. You can just raise your hand. We will be giving you the access of the mic.
Yeah, sure. Happy to answer.
I think Prakhar was asking. Sakshi is there. Okay, I'm allowing the access.
So hi sir. So we got to know about everything that you did right. But if you had to start over, what would you do differently? Like if there's something that you would have done differently, what would it be?
Yeah, so it has been, I think, three times that I've done it differently again and again. So the first time when I initially told you that we were out of college and we were building something, we found that finance and sales is not our cup of tea. So we found a person who was an expert in it. We formed a company, Orbo, with Manoj, and that's how we mitigated that thing. It is always that you find, as I said again, you need to be the devil's advocate. What is that you don't have? Could be different for you, could be different for me, could be different for Arnav. If we know that this is the problem, then definitely we'll have a solution for it. Because next time when we start, first thing would be to have a person, to have a tech, to have a policy to mitigate that thing. So if I do it again this time, so the first thing that I think I would do is that's an interesting one actually, because things have been put in place when you are running a company for many years now. But definitely, I think standardization is something very, very important, and that we did not start with it at the initial phase. Yeah, standardization, just to explain more on all aspects. Let it be HR, let it be policy making, let it be client handling, let it be technology or various aspects of technology. How do they interact with each other, and what is the standard protocol for it? So standardization will be key to anything that will be done in the company. So that is very important.
Do we have some more questions from the audience?
By the way, we have lot of audience and lot of questions. Yeah, Darshita, your mic is allowed.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask that what was the biggest lesson you learned from your experience on the Shark Tank India?
Great question. On Shark Tank India, the biggest thing that I actually learned was that I learned that okay, the thing that we were doing. So as I said, every founder thinks that my idea is the best. We are doing something right. Challenges would come because everyone has challenges at the end of the day, and we will succeed one day. The biggest takeaway from Shark Tank was that we were doing things literally right according to them too. Now, coming from them, the first thing that came in the demo session that we had was tech acha hai boss. Someone else telling tech acha hai bro. Someone telling oh cool tech. So every shark actually told in a single tone that the tech was solid and it was so strong that it could change the industry overall. So that was the first takeaway. The second takeaway was Piyush Bansal was very interested in the tech. He was so excited. He was testing it from all angles possible. Uh, and again, after doing that kind of a assessment on stage, he gave us an offer of a 51% stake in the company. Now, 51% stake in the company means he wants to own the company. What do you think the biggest takeaway would be? That we had built something so good that Piyush Bansal wanted to be the owner of that thing. So that was the biggest achievement on stage that and a biggest um, takeaway. Yeah, definitely the biggest takeaway from the stage that okay, we were doing something very good that Piyush Bansal had actually signed on it. That yeah, keep it up and great. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
So, sir, with this, we would wind up the session. It has been an amazing session with you. The session was very power packed. The conversation was very amazing. Sir, your journey has been very inspiring as you turned your AI-driven model into a game-changing startup, and you got featured on Shark Tank India also, which is an amazing journey that we all would admire. The way you have navigated challenges, embraced innovation, and created a massive impact in the AI space is truly remarkable. Your journey is not only enlightened, but also ignited a spark in all aspiring entrepreneurs and students like us. As a student myself, this session has been an eye-opener, proving that with the right mindset, strategic vision, and complete determination, anything is possible. On behalf of Whiteboard Foundation, I extend my deepest gratitude to you, sir, for your time, wisdom, and energy. Your journey proves that passion and persistence can turn ideas into reality, and that AI is not just about technology, it is also about reshaping the future. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who joined today. The mission of 25 and 2025, the Changemaker series, is to empower students with knowledge and connect them with the real world leaders. And today's session has truly embodied that vision. With that, I look forward to many more such inspiring conversations. Stay hungry, stay curious, and keep pushing boundaries. Thank you all. See you in the next session.
Thank you so much, Abid, for joining us today. Thank you so much for your precious time and knowledge. I'm sure they must have gained something definitely today. Arnav, how was the experience?
It was perfect. I really got to know a lot about the technology, not only the technology, how to scale up the technology, the model that we are building, and how to build business in, when you have very less resources also.
Right, right.
It was same this side too. I think I enjoyed a lot and loved talking about many things. And it is definitely I like if even 1% of what I say has gone into the ears of someone, and it makes some kind of a betterment in their life in any form. So thank you for having me here. I think it was a great one for me, and meet you soon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.